Okay, we are live.
Live?
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So should we start introducing people, everybody? Or are we waiting for something?
Yes, no, we should start.
Okay. Oh, Sakari is so cute. So hi everybody who is out there watching. Thank you so much for coming. And yeah, we're just gonna have a little introduction of the team and then start our event for today.
Hi everyone, I'm Sakara.
Where are you in the USA, Sakara?
Oh, okay, I'll restart. Hi everyone, I'm Sakara. I have narcolepsy type 1 and the I'm in Philadelphia in the US.
Curly? I think you're muted, hon.
So I thought Sakara was going to say more because it was like meet the team, not just I'm Sakara. Okay, we'll do it this way. Hi, I'm Kelly. I'm in London, UK.
And you have narcolepsy?
I have narcolepsy type 1.
Bernie? Oh, Brent, muted. Everybody's muted, by the way, just so we know.
I'm unmuted now. Cool. I'm Bernadette. I'm in Missouri in the United States. I have narcolepsy type 1, and I'll see y'all later.
Hi everyone, I'm Chloe. I'm in Texas and I also have narcolepsy type 1.
Hi, I'm Liz. I have narcolepsy type 1 as well. I'm based in London, and my main role is co-host on the podcast. So you might have heard me a little bit if you've listened to that.
Hi guys, so I'm Iris and I am in Portugal and I have narcolepsy type 1 as well.
Hi, my name's Heather and I am in Northampton in the UK. I have narcolepsy type 1.
Hi, I'm Matilda. I'm in California in the USA, and I also have narcolepsy type 1.
I'm in the Ireland in Belfast. I have narcolepsy type 1.
And this is our team. So hello everyone, welcome to Connection Day. We will now go around and introduce you to the team again, but they will tell you more about themselves so you can have a little insight into who they are, what they do outside of their illness, and so a little peek into their lives. So Sakara, take it away.
Okay, as I said, I'm Sakara. I am the podcast co-host slash editor. I edit all the episodes, sometimes I update the website. I feel like I do a little bit of everything.
You've been doing the
Yeah.
artwork.
Yes, the artwork. And I am just so excited to be here with you guys. This event has been so amazing to plan. We have a lot of fun things in store for you guys, everybody watching. If you're watching from YouTube or Instagram, feel free to comment, spread the love. And Bernadette, take it away.
Okay, so I'm probably the oldest one on here. I've had narcolepsy type 1 a very long time. I was diagnosed in 99. So I am medication free, which makes me pretty unique to most. And other than that, I'm just, about happy and nappy. That's pretty much my life. Oh, and I will be going, and I am a patient partner for Savvy at the Las Vegas conference coming up in October. I'm pretty excited about that. But otherwise, here I've been a member of NAPS for a very long time now. I think I was one of the first members of like four or five of us. And uh, just to be really honest about it, naps and staying connected with people like this through video chats and constantly chatting with people in private messaging and stuff like that has actually been my savior when it comes to narcolepsy. So it's kind of kept me reeled in, and I've learned a lot more than I would have ever learned from any doctor I've ever had. So I appreciate Naps for Life and Navigators and all the rest of it. And I plan to stick around for a very long time and be a real pain. So whoever's next,
Chloe?
I can't see.
Okay.
There you are.
I'll go next. So basically, what I do with Naps for Life is I'm the teen rep, and I've done a little bit of co-hosting as well. What makes me different is that first, I'm only 16, so I'm still in high school. And then in my free time, I just like to collect like cute things. I like to journal, use my planner, um, listen to music. That's pretty much it. So yeah.
Hey everyone. So, like I said, I am co-hosting on the podcast. So you might have heard my voice. And a little bit about me. I'm really into cold swimming all year round. My friends would laugh at me if they knew I was saying this because I basically make it my whole personality just because I'm so obsessed with it. To be honest, it's just the time when I feel the most awake naturally, because obviously you're in water that's like 5 degrees, or even in winter it gets to like 1 degree. And it just makes my brain feel so happy and calm. So I highly recommend. I can see Iris giving me lots of raised eyebrows right now. Maybe it's not for everyone. And then I've also been getting into mindfulness recently, and just things to try and keep myself feeling zen, because as we know, dealing with narcolepsy can be hard. So that's what I'm trying to do at the moment. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this little live we're doing.
I'm just gonna come out. It's not even because I'm next. It's because I genuinely have a question, Liz. What the heck? Sorry if there's children. Is cold swimming? You said?
Yeah. So basically, I go to a pool that's not heated, or like a lake, and swim all year round, even through
In
winter.
the UK?
Yeah, it's a bit crazy. I try and go at least once every week, and I wear little like socks and gloves, so I look really fashionable when I do it.
I can see that.
But
It's interesting over here because I do the same.
nice. See, it's not just me. There's a lot of people who do it.
How have I never heard of this?
Open water swimming. It's absolutely brilliant. The place I go to, we do have a lifeguard, even though it's a river, and it's absolutely brilliant. But like you said, it definitely makes you more alert, more alive.
It also makes you have
polar
like
bears in the United States. We have a lot of people that swim in ice waters and extremely cold water, and they're called polar bears. That's what they call themselves.
I also found that I'm not the biggest person out there, because a lot of larger ladies will actually go and do this. Menopausal ladies, yes, they'll all be out there as well.
Yeah, because you need the insulation. Like, it helps to have extra layers of, skin and fat on you. So I recommend.
Okay. This is actually very interesting for me because of the temperature in narcolepsy thing. So I'm just kind of thinking, if I did that, I'm already cold enough in many ways. So, like, I just can't imagine. But anyways, let's carry on with this. So yeah, I'm Iris. Like I said, I'm brand director. So mostly market. Oh, and I've done 2 episodes, I think, co-hosting 2. So we'll try a little bit of everything here. And yeah, I want to just second what Bernadette said, like completely. And I think that's a lot of us have found kind of, a bit of solace and a bit of comfort in having this little outside world that's just like ours, that only we understand each other, like, and nobody else really can. And I think, like I'm only able to live my normal life because I have this life as well, and I think that's what it's been amazing for. And yeah, and I think it just as a group, pretty damn cool. Why am I swearing again? Sorry. Yeah, so yeah, I'm in Portugal and it's actually 28 degrees here right now, guys. So still baking. But yeah, go on, Heather.
I guess I'm the newest person in the team, am I? So I have narcolepsy. I've come through Narcolepsy UK, which previously was UK Narcolepsy Association, called UCAN, and then it changed its name to Narcolepsy UK. And then I've just followed Curly really and come across to do the podcast thing. I've had a go at one podcast and I like it. I like what I see. So I've had a couple of evening ones, just chatting with the group, which I quite like the idea of a weekly check-in and just a chat with people. That seems to work well. In my day-to-day life, I do have a cafe, and it's nice. I'm self-employed, so my hours are up and down if I'm up and down. But at the moment, I have night medication and day medication, so I'm quite stable. But I don't drive. People keep asking me, "Do you drive?" No, I don't drive. I could drive tractors, but like 3 to 5 miles an hour, that's me. There's no way you get me out on a road at full speed.
I guess I'm next then. Like I said, I'm Matilda. I enjoy doing crafts in my free time. I'll actually be doing the color with me later, along with Chloe. I helped in doing the coloring book that you will be seeing parts of. And yeah, I guess I have 2 cats, which is really lovely. So yeah.
Can we all show our t-shirts as well? I forgot to do this. We've all got our narcolepsy t-shirts on. Different styles.
So cool, guys. It looks amazing. I really like Chloe's one as well. That's a nice color.
Yeah, I didn't know they did it in blue. That was great.
Yeah, I think it was on the US website. It let you pick all the different colors. I was like, the blue and the pink. Perfect.
And so everybody, if you'd like to purchase, they're available. Go to our website and the links are there. So you can have your own one and be a navigator too.
I think I'm next. So I'm Christine, as I was saying earlier. What do I do? Very little. No, I'm only joking. I've been on a few podcasts, co-hosting. I think me and Curly first connected through my blog, The Girl Who Ran Away in Her Sleep, which is a really long name. But if anyone follows me on there, that's who I am. And I was on the podcast as a guest, and then I was asked to come back and co-host a few episodes. So you might have heard me on there. Based in Belfast, spend my time. I don't do cold water swimming, but I just do regular swimming and just going to the gym and stuff. And I'd be very into I'll be chatting on this a wee bit later, but I'm very into how your mental health impacts your sleep. And that was one of the first things that I began to address whenever I was first diagnosed. So yeah, that's me, I think.
By the way, I was just going to say, Liz, I do actually have my tattoo here that says mindfulness. So, yeah.
Oh, I love that. It's a good little reminder when you sit in the mirror. You're like, okay, don't
yes, gotta be mindful.
Mm-hmm.
So, Who's actually starting the show? Sorry.
Okay, I'm next. Hi everyone, I'm Kelly Boga. Sorry, I was off screen because my sister said that there was a glare, so then I had to change rooms. So yeah. Okay. I'm Kelly. I'm 42 years old. I live in London. I am the founder, I'm the co-founder of Naps for Life and the founder of Narcolepsy Navigators. I have narcolepsy type 1 and 4 other sleeping disorders. And extra comorbidities got thrown in just for fun. So I've been doing advocacy work for 15 years, but was advocating the loudest the last 7. And I've had the privilege this year of being a patient partner with Savvy, and I went to Amsterdam to speak about narcolepsy to other people in the tech and health world who want to know, how they can make the illness, how they can make devices to help to make life easier for people with sleeping disorders. I also was had the privilege of Asana. It's a charity in the UK, and Luann Sampson has invited me to speak. I spoke at the library on their Women's International Day about sleep health, and also on Black History Month. They asked me to come down and also speak about sleep health and narcolepsy, and that was really good because there was a range of different people that were at these events. Like some nurses were there, and regular people, and most of them, even the nurses, said that they hadn't had it explained to them in this way, so they didn't think of it having as many problems as it did. They just more thought of it as only sleep related. So it was good to see like the other side of the coin. So it was nice to be able to educate people in that way. I like to travel. I have 2 cats. I'm the mum of 2 cats. One's half Russian blue and one is ginger. She's mixed. We're not sure what with. And it's like having 2 toddlers around the house. So, it's hard work, but it keeps me awake and alive. And when you're really tired and you don't want to do anything, the thing about having pets is you still have to feed them and you still have to clean their litter. So it's actually a good ritual that you still have to do every day, even if you don't want to do anything for yourself. You have to do that to keep them alive. So that's cool. I would say that if you have a sleeping disorder, you should get a pet. Yeah. Even if it's a turtle, get something. It helps, like have something to be responsible for. I love animals, and my 2 favorite animals is dolphins and horses. I'm a woman of faith, and I am glad that God has ordered my steps and that has opened loads of doors and has used my illness to be a blessing to others. Welcome to Connection Day. Share a story to change a story. Now we're going to have people on who have been previous guests on the podcast, and they're going to say why they came on, and we're going to have a little talk with them. So we're going to bring them onto the platform now. They're waiting to come on, so we're going to do that. So while we're doing that, Christine, okay, Sakara, are they waiting to bring them on? Oh, you're muted, Sakara.
So Natalie is
Natalie's ready. I'll tell the others now that they can log in.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, Natalie.
So, do you want me to just
Yes.
say
So
something, or do you want to ask
yourself.
something specific?
Yeah, introduce yourself.
One second, Scott. Let's see. Add the other people in first, and then.
Okay.
Who else? bear with us, guys. We're getting the other people to log in. So I love transparency. So I'm just going to explain to you how it works. So this platform we're using, only 10 people can be on screen visually at one time. So everybody else has to go into the back room. So that's why we couldn't bring the guests on with the team all at the same time. So now some of the team go into the back room, they can still listen and everything. And then we bring the guest on. So I'm texting them now to tell them to try them to come back on. But before they were trying to come on, and obviously they couldn't come on because of that. Okay. Okay. Please log in. They're saying it's still saying it's full.
Okay, so I will tell everybody else everybody else that's on the team that's backstage. You guys can exit and come back in when it's your turn.
But you could also try and tell them to give it a try with copy and paste, because that's how it worked for me.
Oh.
To copy the link in the email and then paste it into
the browser
login page of that program.
Yeah. So if you okay. Oh, Lucas and Kathy are here.
Oh, they're in. Okay. So it's just Ross now. That's Ross.
And we just have a somebody from Facebook said hello everyone, Edel here from Dublin, Ireland, jumping in to say hi. Narcolepsy type 1, social worker, mental health promotion. Wow, okay. We are so happy to have you with us.
Oh, she's a craft. Please get in touch with us. We'd love to share your craft store on our webpage. So email us after. Oh, there's Ross. Okay. Okay. Where's Natalie? She's there. Okay, we can start now.
Okay. So I'm Natalie. I'm 44 years old, and I'm probably, when I get that right, the only non-English speaker, the only not native speaker on this program. So bear with me when I do make some mistakes, which I will. I am a teacher. I live in Germany, and I have narcolepsy type 1. I'm probably one of those who got it quite late in life. I think I was 29 when I started getting the first symptoms. And there's probably something else that makes me a little different from most. I'm not medicated. And that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about, and that were making me decide to go on the podcast.
Thank you, Natalie. And how was your experience sharing your story? And is there any updates since then?
First of all, Liz and you are such lovely hosts, so it was really a nice and pleasant thing to do the podcast. I love what you're doing. I love that you find so many people sharing their stories. I wish that I had that when I was on the way to get a diagnosis to figure out what's going on with me. Since I do know that, I have adapted basically every single aspect of my life to it, but that's how I can keep going unmedicated. I do notice that it's progressively getting worse. So things that I was able to do like 5 years ago are not in the picture anymore. But I still think that I can be quite active, that I can get lots of things done, that I can work part time most of all. But I also have to. So that's not really an option to drop out of it. And that's why I hope that I can keep going. Or, um, as probably also a lot of people on here, I put some hope into the medication that is quite new and not really available for everyone yet, the orexin antagonist, because that would basically fix, no, not fix, but make everything at once more bearable. Yeah.
Yeah,
But the reason
100%.
why I'm not medicated is a bit more complicated. It's also because I cannot really tolerate lots of medication, and so I, it was not just by choice.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you for sharing. Ross, would you like to go next?
Oh, yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. Thanks for inviting me to this group chat. I'm called Ross, and I have idiopathic hypersomnia. Is I'm sort of middle-aged now, but I feel like I've had IH for decades. I think it's been over 30 years. And I find these group chats with other people with narcolepsy, cataplexy, IH very useful, because it's very rare in my life that I will meet in person somebody who's in the same position as me. So it's really nice to meet other people who understand the challenges of living with a disorder where you're living life always sleepy. IH is a bit different from narcolepsy in that we have long sleep time at night and we have long naps in the day. There's not much we can do about that, and the medications don't really work for people with IH the same as they do with narcolepsy, or they're not available, or they're not licensed. So I just try to get through it day by day. I accept all the support that I can where I can get it. I'm very grateful for people like Curly and Sakara, who, with their illness, in spite of their illness, managed to actually provide resources for people like me and others in a similar situation.
Thank you, Ross. And Ross, is there anything update, something new that's been happening to you since you were last on the podcast?
Yeah, so one of the problems that I have had is that because I sleep so many hours per day and I'm tired most of the rest of them, I can very easily become socially isolated and not really do any exercise and not really meet new people. So it's quite difficult. It's quite lonely. Don't often get to do many useful activities, and so recently I was referred to a community program which helps people who have it's not for people specifically with sleep problems, but it's for people whose long-term disabilities and conditions have resulted in them not being able to engage with other people and groups and things. So I went there and they helped me to re-engage with people again and just do some normal basic activities for a few hours, gentle exercise, or some little hobbies or art therapy. And these things are never the cure for the sleep disorder, they're never cure for the underlying disorder, but these things help us stay as well as we can, in spite of the sleep disorder in my case.
Thank you for sharing, and I'm glad that you were able to have that experience to go and have this outreach. I'm glad that there are programs like that available. So yeah, hopefully there'll be more of that in the future. I hope that you'll be able to do another one.
Thank you.
Yeah. We just actually recently had an interview a couple of days ago with Dr. Danny Cabal, and she specializes in Alzheimer's. And one of the things that she did mention, especially with people who have sleeping disorders and the effects of that on the brain, is that social isolation is one of the things that can really have a big impact on you later on in life. And if there's like things that you could do to change to lower the onset of these things, she was saying, don't drink, don't smoke, exercise. But one of the more important things was social isolation, to develop meaningful relationships, because it don't have to be many of them, just a few. And they don't have to be in person either. They just have to be meaningful to you. And that helps decline by 40% later things in life to do with memory and stuff, because of the cleaning lymphatic system in the brain that doesn't happen when you don't get restorative sleep. Having some exercise, having good social connections, eating well, these things can lower it by 40%, which is a lot. So it's good that you were able to do that.
Yeah.
And Solomon, how are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I go by Narcoplexic. I'm an independent advocate. I wrote a blog post for World Narcolepsy Day on the Naps for Life, and probably be doing more of them as time goes on, maybe once a month.
Yeah,
Okay.
so thank you. So yeah, we're anyone out there, go and look up Solomon's work. You see his name on the screen, Narcoplexic. He's on Patreon, he's on Facebook, he's on YouTube, he's on all the platforms. And yes, he writes some very good work and very interesting art about the personal experience about sleep, and he really explains it in a way that you probably no one has ever like even explained it to you before. Whether you have a sleeping disorder or you don't, you will find it very engaging and you will learn a lot from it. So I encourage you to do that. He also has books on Amazon, so also check that out as well. So Solomon, how was your interview with us? How did
it was good. It'll be interesting to hear when it comes out, but I think
Yes.
We covered a lot, and
Yes, we
good.
did. Yeah, we
There's
did cover a lot.
there's
So
so
that's
much that can be talked about. It's like could
yes.
be an interview for days and never get through it. But
So yeah, so you lot will be able to look out for Solomon's in season 4 or 5. So it will be coming out early next year. So watch out for that. And in the meantime, you'll get to enjoy his writing once a month on Naps, on the Naps Journal. You can find it on the Narcolepsy on Naps for Life website. So yeah. Thank you very much, Solomon, for coming in and sharing today.
yep, thanks for having me. Just yeah, I don't know if there's more to say. Happy World Narcolepsy Day, everyone. And
Yeah.
there's a well, yeah, my website. I've been doing a lot of advocacy there, and some of you maybe enjoy it. I talk about the human experience. I feel like a lot gets oversimplified. The science is so great and informative, but like there's a bridge to be gap or there's a gap and a bridge to be made between kind of the terminology, the diagnostic, clinical, medical, and then like the actual lived experience. But it's improving gradually. So props to everyone out there doing
Yeah.
their thing.
100%. Thank you. And thank you for your advocacy work. Thank you very much. And we now have Kathy and Lucas. Sakara, can you make Lucas big so everyone can see him? There you go. Hi, Lucas. Hi, Kathy. How are you?
Good. How are
So,
you?
we're good. So, everyone, this is Lucas and his mom, Kathy. And Lucas is 10, and Lucas has narcolepsy. And he was the first child that I got to interview. So, it's very special. And so Lucas is going to say a little bit about his experience on our podcast. And you'll have the pleasure. Last year, our narcolepsy last year on World Narcolepsy Day, we released Matilda's story and Toast. Toast is the narcolepsy dog. Toast wanted to be here today, but his mummy is out of town, so he wasn't able to be here. So sorry to the children and the adults who wanted to see Toast. But so last year we had Toast and Matilda. We were highlighting their stories because Matilda was diagnosed at 3. She's one of the youngest people in the world to be diagnosed. At the time when she was diagnosed, people were not being diagnosed at that young age. And so her story was very special. And this year we got Lucas, who's 10. It's our first child who their parent has allowed them to, or wanted to do an interview, and their parent has allowed them to speak. So he's very special. And his podcast comes out tomorrow on World Narcolepsy Day. So run, don't crawl, to go listen to it tomorrow, and send it out to all your friends. Okay. Hi, Lucas.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. I have narcolepsy type 1. I was diagnosed when I was 8.
How does it affect you?
It affects me when, I don't get a deep sleep.
Mm-hmm. And does that mean that, how are you when you're at school?
I'm very tired at school and I need my teacher to help me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm allowed to take naps at school and get up for a walk.
Oh, and you find that helps you when you take your naps and go for a walk. That's good. And the teacher and the children at school, they're supportive.
Yeah.
That's very good. That's really good.
I-
And you have a dog.
When I come home, I have some naps.
Mm-hmm. And that helps you think, feel a bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And does mommy let you not do chores? No.
Some things are still expected.
Okay. You haven't been able to use that to advantage yet, Lucas. But in the future, you'll have some tricks you can use in the future.
Yeah.
And do you have a special friend?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You want to give him a shout out if he's listening?
Yeah. His name is Bronx.
Bronx.
Yeah, Bronx.
Right.
Hi, Bronx.
That's nice.
I missed it.
And you go to church?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how is your church family?
Nice.
Nice. That's good. And you have a dog as well?
Yeah, his name is Coda.
And is he a good nap buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good nap buddy. So what do you want to tell the other children about when you came on the podcast? Do you think other children should want to share their story as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would be helpful? Like if you were a kid that just found out about narcolepsy, what would have been helpful for you?
Try to have some more naps.
Okay, what else? Would you want people to know about narcolepsy? Other kids?
Yeah.
So tell them that.
I think it's very important at this age, Lucas's age, to when they're ready to be open and honest about it, because I think he's still very much a lot like some of the teenagers. The peer pressure is coming on, and they don't want to have necessarily a label that's not, going to pump them up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really important to have that open conversation where people are open and honest and accepting of all the different abilities, whether it be narcolepsy or something else.
Yeah, 100%. And Lucas, I remember when we had the podcast, Mommy had mentioned and that you went to a camp. You want to tell everyone about the camp?
I went to.
Carly, you mean the narcolepsy camp, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead.
I went to the narcolepsy camp, and there were kids there, younger and older than me, and it felt like happy to meet someone who had narcolepsy too.
Oh, that's nice.
The camp is called FACES. It's families and children experiencing symptoms of narcolepsy. And they meet usually once or twice a year in the USA. It's an excellent camp for both parents and kids. Like Lucas said, he is able to meet other individuals that, have narcolepsy. They're his age or slightly older, and he's able to make those connections and see that it's okay to take nap or it's okay to take connections. And then during that time, the parents, while the kids are playing, the parents get to meet each other, and they get a lot of educative resources. They get a lot of doctoral advice from different doctors that might come to the camp that year. So it's very, very, very vulnerable, very useful information. Very valuable.
That's really good. We just actually last week had an interview with Jenny.
Yeah.
From
That's
FACES.
who we met originally was Jenny. She's amazing.
Yeah, and wow. So, and I was saying to her that it is my dream to have a retreat, and she was saying to me that she feels so bad now because a lot of the children that they've seen grow up through the camp, they're now aging out.
Yeah.
But but they still want to have that connection. And she's like, say to them, "I'll come back as a counselor or something," so so they don't have to not go. But there's coming to a point now where there's nothing else there for them to have another camp of their own to go to, and so they still feel that they need that camp. And I said to her, well, we just all need to pray about it and come together and make the second camp, FACES 2. So, and, do it and be able to move it into different locations so that the children in Canada don't have to travel all the way to US to have the camp. She even mentioned that someone came from New Zealand, and imagine to travel all that way. So there's still work to do.
I wish that for anybody that had narcolepsy, but especially for kids, is that there would be more resources. I know the States, and I think UK has fairly good resources, or getting better for sure. We are still very much lacking behind. And much like your one inductee said, Lucas is not currently on any medication. We go back to his doctors in a couple of weeks, and they're going to try a new one, but it's very much trial and error. And there's not too many people professionally that know what narcolepsy is here in Canada.
Yeah. So that if any doctors and researchers out there listening, we want to partner with you. We want to have more resources available, and it definitely is needed. So if you were thinking that we want to tell you it is needed. People there, we need more resources. We need more connection, as the other doctor was saying. We need more social connection.
Absolutely. Maybe even about thinking of connections, even for parents that have children with narcolepsy, just reaching out to each other and saying, hey, this, my child experiences this, and this is what it's like. And because it really does sometimes, not take over your life, but it really makes life different at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And sharing helps. You're right. So just as much as Lucas felt safe and good when he got to meet the other children older or younger than him, I assuming also meeting another parent was just as valuable to you as Lucas's
Absolutely, it was. Matter of fact, I'm still quite good friends with a couple of them on Facebook, and we chat quite regularly. Yeah, for sure.
Look at Lucas's face. So that's
Yes.
really good.
So we have people joining us from Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. And there's a question for Lucas here from Edel. I don't know how to pronounce the last name.
And again,
I have a question for Lucas. What does he like to do for fun, and who is his favorite superhero?
So what do you like to do for fun? Who's your favorite superhero?
Like to do for fun?
What's your favorite thing to do for fun?
Ride my UTV around our yard.
And who's your favorite superhero? Any superhero. Could be anybody. Yep.
Flash.
Flash. Cool. That's nice. Well, thank you, Kathy and Lucas, for coming on and sharing a bit about your lives with everybody. And people will be really happy to listen and enjoy your episode tomorrow when it is out. So, and to everyone and all the friends listening in, it was lovely to meet Kathy, and get in touch with us. We want to hear the other stories of the other children. I always reiterate to people the reason why I got diagnosed in a 3 year span was because someone had someone was okay to share their story in a newspaper, and that is what ended up helping me. So that's why everybody's story is important, because you don't know who is out there that needs to hear your story. So yeah. So thank you, Lucas.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you very much, ladies. Appreciate it very much.
Okay.
Okay. There's.
Oh, okay. Solomon says he wanted you to know that there's that CO Strong Narcolepsy / IH support group next month. They're having a family members loved one session. If you would like to interact,
I would love that. I will be there.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So what's next on our agenda?
Next we have next we do the first raffle. Yes. So everybody that brought a ticket and you will now get a chance to enter into a raffle where you can win free stuff. So let me just share my screen so you guys can see. Okay, you guys have to forgive me. This is my first time doing this. Okay, so we have one second. Okay, just making sure everybody can see it. So The Naps for Life and Narcolepsy Navigators team is giving away a mug and key ring, sticker, t-shirt, and a bag. And these are all the people that registered. So I'm going to spin it. Congratulations, Haley Little. You have won a bag. And I think we might throw in a little extra in there too. Okay. So next up in the program, we will have Chloe. We will have Chloe, and she will be talking about high school and navigating accommodations. So everybody put your hands together for Chloe. Okay.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So I'm going to be talking about high school and navigating accommodations and how it is just living with narcolepsy and being so young. I know a lot of people have either they've gotten it later in their lives or maybe they got it earlier, but they weren't diagnosed until later. So that's kind of unique for me, especially being in high school. Most of my friends are like, they're up and about doing all their activities, and sometimes it's a little bit hard to separate myself from that. So, I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about me and then my experience just overall. So, obviously, I'm in high school. Like I said, I'm a junior in high school, so I'm 16 years old. Junior year is like notorious for being one of the hardest years of high school. I go to a very competitive, rigorous high school to prepare. It's like pre-health professions, so it's a really great experience, but at the same time, it can be very draining, and especially with, like, narcolepsy, you have to learn to advocate for yourself a lot. So, I first got narcolepsy when I was 12 years old, so I think I was entering 7th grade, and it was, like, kind of during towards the end of the pandemic around that time. So it was really difficult, but I was lucky that when I was first getting sick, it was like at the height of the pandemic. So I was in online school and I think I slept for like 20 hours a day. So I'm lucky I had that available to me. And then 7th grade is when I first started getting accommodations, and that was, like, at the peak of my narcolepsy. I was figuring things out with my medications and doctors and the school and learning how to, like, cope with that because, like, all my life, I've been kind of a perfectionist. I worked a lot to, like, be that, like, straight A, high achieving student, and then after getting narcolepsy, I just wasn't that anymore, and, like, so parts of me still show up where I'm like, oh, like, I still wanna be that same person, but sometimes I have to make little compromises with myself because, you can't always be perfect. But now carrying on into high school, I'm gonna talk a little bit how I advocate for myself, my experience, with my peers, my teachers, and everything like that. So, each year, like, since 7th grade, I think I've had it in my mind that, like, advocacy is so important, but and each year I tell myself like, "Oh yeah, like advocacy is so important, it's so important." And I do really feel that. But I think this is the first year where I've like truly embodied it like fully. Like I noticed the way I carry myself in conversations and when I have to advocate for myself, it's not like I'm doing it because I have to, like it's genuinely just me and it's coming from like my heart now, which kind of sounds funny to say, but it's the truth. Like before, it was like difficult, but I did it because I knew I had to, but it was also uncomfortable. But now it's just like it just comes out of my mouth when I have this like opposition and these challenges with like getting accommodations and things like that. I really just truly speak up for myself because I kind of had like an epiphany where it's like, nobody else is gonna do it for you. You really have to be your like biggest savior here. And so this year I've had a lot of struggles with accommodations actually. Um, Initially in middle school, I kind of struggled to even use my accommodations, even though I needed them so badly. It was like I was using them because I had to, but it was challenging to actually like want to use them. And sometimes I would push myself too far where, you know, I wouldn't go to the nurse, I wouldn't take my naps during the day because I wanted to be like everybody else, which obviously I'm not, and that's okay. But this year, I do want to use my accommodations, and it was like challenging to even get them, which is like so strange for me because before it was like all on me, but now it was like challenges with like outside, like administration and things like that. So I've really had to advocate for myself a lot. My mom as well has been a great advocate for me. Um, like I've had staff at my school tell me certain accommodations that I don't need, and try to like lessen my experience with narcolepsy, which was kind of like frustrating to see, and also makes you question your self worth a little bit. But you kind of just have to remind yourself that whatever other people say isn't indicative of you, and really fight for yourself. Because I know for me, it's like at this point in my life, 4 or 5 years after getting narcolepsy, I'm not afraid to advocate for myself and I'm not afraid to speak up. But I know a lot of other people are. And so it's challenging for me and it just makes me wanna speak up more. So, like, with, like, narcolepsy, you know, if I bring it up to, like, a teacher or some of my friends, you know, or people who don't know about narcolepsy, right? Like, the first thing they'll probably say is like, "Oh, are you gonna fall asleep right now? Are you just gonna, like are you" I've had a PE teacher tell me, "Oh, like, you can't play basketball. Are you gonna, like, fall asleep when you're playing basketball or have seizures when you're playing basketball? Or, like, can't we just give her some coffee?" So, like, there's a bunch of different stereotypes and stigma around narcolepsy, which I think I've worked really hard to break in like communities that I'm around. I try to speak about narcolepsy whenever I can. And then obviously joining like NAS for Life and Narcolepsy Navigators, I think over a year ago. So that was really nice. Like everybody else said, the community here is really supportive. Curly and like everybody else has really gotten me through some tough times, especially recently. Like I said, dealing with all the challenges of getting accommodations and using accommodations this year has been really hard, really anxiety inducing, to be honest. And I'm glad that I'm at this point right now where I can just share openly and speak. But it's really important to have like a support system with, you know, friends who understand you and also like, you know, having accommodations and not being afraid to use them because I know they have negative consequences if you don't. And like sometimes I'll like incentivize myself to stay up, take my meds later, and then I wake up in the morning the next day and I feel like pretty terrible, you know, and then I feel guilty for it, which I know is like a shared experience among a lot of people. So, yeah, it's been really challenging, but also really an eye-opening experience, and I don't think I'd be who I am today without my narcolepsy, and it's really allowed me to grow into somebody that I'm really proud of, and I'm really proud of all the work that we do here with Naps for Life, and so I was really excited that we could do this connection day. So now I'm gonna ask if anybody else would like to come on and share their experience, or if they have any struggles or any advice they'd like to give. I'd like to open the floor for that. And yeah, so thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak. That's what I had to say regarding my experience with narcolepsy in high school and navigating accommodations.
Awesome. That was great. So if anybody, as Chloe said, if anybody has anything they want to share, you can put it in the chat or you can message us. Yeah, you can put it in the chat and we will display your comments, your what you're trying, what you have to say on the screen. I believe next in the program is Christine, and she's going to be talking about mental health and dreams. Okay.
Hi. um, Hi, so I am Christine. I'm based in Belfast. And first of all, I want to say Chloe spoke so well there. I related to a lot of her experiences about school, and I actually didn't have my diagnosis when I was at school. But no, I really relate whenever you used to be, you felt like your grades, you're an A student, and then when you get narcolepsy, it just impacts you in a different way. So I'll introduce a wee bit about myself. Basically, I'm going to talk about dreams and mental health. I wasn't diagnosed until 2017. I was about 25 by that point, and I had already been through university and was in the middle of a training contract for an accountancy firm. So the first thing that I did whenever I was diagnosed was look at mental health. Anyone that has narcolepsy will be familiar with the hypnagogic hallucinations that you experience, the very vivid dreams, the sleep paralysis. I know people here that don't have narcolepsy would say sleep paralysis is like the horrors when they get hungover, but we get the delight of having them all the time. So it's, for me, mental health is one of the first things that if you get diagnosed, you should begin to address. It won't necessarily, always mean that your dreams are going to be like butterflies and rainbows, but it just is so important to address if there's any anxiety there. Because for me, it's very difficult for me to know whether I had anxiety because of the nightmares I would experience. I would wake up in the morning and, you would just wake up with a start and you'd be sweating. You could have dreamt anything from someone trying to burgle your house to trying to kill you to you being in a war. It's just very difficult to navigate life when you really are convinced that you are in this different world. And because we get the full sensory smell, touch, sound, visuals, it's very convincing. So for me, even though the exhaustion was awful, and until I implemented naps, it was really difficult to cope with. But the dreams was the thing that was really traumatizing me in a way. And I remember going to my consultant and saying, like, this is really affecting my mental health. They say basically even when your sleep is so poor that your cortisol, which is a stress hormone, is very, very high. So when you wake up in the morning, you haven't even got out of bed yet, and you're already stressed, but with the lack of sleep. And then if you have a horrible nightmare on top of that, you can only imagine how much that affects you. Even if someone doesn't have narcolepsy, they've had a dream before that's had an impact on them, and they're thinking about it the rest of the day. And I always used to feel like I have already been fighting wars in my sleep, and now I have to go to work. Like, what are you talking about? So for me, it was really important to, first of all, address my anxiety, which had been prevalent throughout my life. But I also think that being sleepy, and for example, when I was in school and things, I was feeling tired, and I was always kind of overcompensating, always trying to try really hard so that my grades wouldn't slip. And I think that anxiety was more because I felt like my body was going to let me down at any moment, but I didn't know what it was then. So throughout my life, basically in each stage that I've went through, there's been a lot of job changes, relationship changes, and just I have found, and actually my consultant told me this, that whenever you go through a transition like that, it's really important to realize that your dreams will be crazy. Anyone would be affected, but people with narcolepsy, you could be having like way more hallucinations, way more like sleep paralysis episodes. And for me, he would say to me, like I went through a breakup in December, and they just went crazy again, even though I took fluoxetine, which was meant to suppress the REM. And he was like, look, we can increase it, but usually it's the life event that is making it, and that is kind of the direct link between your mental health and your nightmares. And for me, it was just like my brain was trying to process the breakup. It was repeating events over and over and over. And I do think that your brain, your subconscious in particular, is trying to facilitate and kind of make sense of your waking life events. And for me, usually people, you could just ignore it. But for me, for example, when I first was doing accountancy exams, I was constantly having these dreams of the room basically closing in on me, and I couldn't get out. And it was just that was a real sign that I felt trapped, that it wasn't working for me. And for me, it just seems that it's kind of like in a positive and a negative way. Don't ignore them. Don't ignore what they're trying to tell you. Sometimes you have random dreams. I had a dream like Eddie Murphy was in it, and we were judging a talent show. I mean, that doesn't really mean anything, but other dreams where it's, you're feeling chased, or you're feeling like you need to jump into water, or I would always look up what they mean. And I just think for us, and that's the one thing I would say with having narcolepsy, is that I have never been able to ignore my intuition. Which, even though I really want to like stay in a job, or I really want to stay in a relationship, but my dreams will haunt me until I change my path. And so I have kind of leaned into that a little more. I used to get really frustrated at it, but now I know that it's a sign that I need to make some changes in my waking life. And if, you are in a position where your mental health is really, really affected by horrific dreams, like I have been there, they are really traumatizing. I would really, it might not like make them completely go away, but I would start talking, write them down. I actually got up the other morning and wrote 2 pages of a dream that I had had. I asked ChatGPT to actually, was there any symbolism, and it was pretty accurate, what it came back with. So I guess like don't get swept under the rug of just the fog that the dreams can leave you in when you wake up. It was really leaving me as like a shell of a person. And when it comes to medication as well, obviously there is certain ones that can suppress those dreams. So my dreams turn from horrific to kind of not supernatural, but more like I could dream like I'm flying and things like that. So I can deal with that. It was the more murders every night, murders in the building, my building, every single night, I could not deal with. So I guess I would say everyone has had these dreams. And I think when you start talking about that to other people, it can make you feel so much better. You feel less alone. You feel like I'm not crazy, because I certainly felt crazy when I went in, to work sometimes and was like, I dreamt about this. And they were like, okay, we don't have dreams like that. But that can be one of the symptoms that's really, yes, the tiredness and excessive daytime sleepiness, but those type of vivid dreams, that's not so normal. So if you are having dreams like this on the daily, it might be worth, looking at narcolepsy symptoms and, maybe doing an Epworth sleepiness score or something like that. But yeah, that would be it. I could talk all day. I'm not even sure how long I've been talking. So I think I was down for maybe 10 minutes, but I'm happy to give up my time for anybody else that wants to share or relate or talk about crazy nightmares. I won't think you're crazy at all, and all of us have had them. So I'm happy to listen to everyone's stories.
Thank you, Christine. That was very insightful. So if anybody feels that they have related to what Christine has said, you can put your comment in the chat and everything. The next thing on the schedule is me. So my name is Takara, and I will be talking about representation and narcolepsy. So I was diagnosed in 2015, and around that time, it was not the symptoms that were the hardest for me. It was the um not it, it was the okay, I'm gonna start over. Um, so living with narcolepsy, when I first got diagnosed, I didn't really see that many people that look like me. Um, when I was interviewed, I said my first thought was, well, Black people don't get sleep disorders, because when you're looking for support groups and you're looking for resources and stuff, a lot of times you don't see African Americans or Black people or people of different ethnicities on the pamphlets, on websites, and stuff like that. So for me, it was very isolating. Um, and it was one of the reasons why when Curly asked me to do to be interviewed, it's one of the reasons why I said yes, because I believe representation matters and that everybody should be represented. And narcolepsy is so rare, like as a disorder, it's within itself. The medical, the medical system, the medical departments, they don't really know that much about narcolepsy. So I thought it was very important for me to share my story. And I was happy that I shared my story because I got such positive feedback and it was such a rewarding experience to be able to put my story out there and to share a little bit about myself with the world. Um, I tend to be a behind the scenes type of person. So this is putting my story out there and sharing my story and getting involved with the podcast has been a very rewarding experience. So we know that now. Now that we have interviewed a few people, like one of the goals with the Narcolepsy Navigators podcast and Naps for Life is for us to share a story, change a story, and to bring everybody's story to light. Your story is important. You're valid. If you have a story that you want to share, do not hesitate to get in contact with us. Even if you feel like you don't see yourself represented, you are represented. There is someone in the world that is representing you and that you can relate to. So I feel like I was rambling there, but World Narcolepsy Day is about visibility and being visible is power. And by showing up, we are rewriting what narcolepsy looks like for everyone. So that is my little 5 minutes. Thank you for listening. Yeah.
Thanks, Sakara. We appreciate you and all the hard work. And for a little background for everyone, Sakara and I met 2 years ago when it's 2 years now, Sakara, 1 year.
Yeah, 2 years.
2 years. So when I did a live 2 years ago on Instagram, and she and someone in Kenya were the last two people to come up on the live, and they taught, and then after that, me and Sakara just carried on talking, and we became friends, and then
Yeah.
she joined the team and everything. So yeah, you never know where things are going to lead in life, and where a new friend or is going to pop up. So yeah, I think now it's the next raffle.
Yes. Okay. So next we're gonna have another raffle. And
also, people, if you check on Eventbrite, you check on oh, we have we'll bring her on. We'll do the raffle, and then we'll bring Dr. Anne Marie on because she's
okay.
yeah, okay.
All right. Okay.
I think there's another. Oh, sorry. Yay.
Oh, okay. Congratulations, Tracy Johnson. You have won a bag. All right. And for everybody that doesn't know, that is my mother. So congratulations, Mom. You've won a bag. Okay. So
I see that. Hi, Dr. Anne Marie. How are you?
I am doing well. I appreciate you guys being patient with me. I was rounding in the hospital and I realized what time it was, and I was like, I totally missed my scheduled time to join you.
Well, you've had a busy week. A couple conferences this week.
Yeah. So last week I was in Singapore, then I was in San Diego. I was speaking at the World Sleep Congress, and then I was just at the Psych Congress, and now I'm on call in our children's hospital. So it's always a whirlwind for me, but it always is really exciting to have the opportunity to just spend time with people from our community, to be able to chat and understand where people are on their journeys and what opportunities I can provide in regards to giving some information.
Thank you. That's really good. So everyone, this is Dr. Anne Marie. So when we started NAPS, when NAPS for Life was made into a CIC, which is a nonprofit, one of the guidelines that we were given that you should have a doctor and you should have advisors basically on your board. It's good to have advisors on your board. And so I couldn't sleep one night, and I was just like scrolling through LinkedIn. So I've become addicted to LinkedIn because of the other co-founder, Iris. Before that, I just not bothered with LinkedIn. I thought you only use LinkedIn if you're looking for jobs. But actually, it's a really good place for connections, which I have learned. So yes, I was scrolling through and trying to find everyone that had to do with sleep and looking for people to interview and stuff. And follow Dr. Anne Marie. I know of Dr. Anne Marie because of one second.
Sure, take your time.
Sakara, talk to Dr. Anne Marie for a second. My battery in the laptop has decided that it wants to be low, and I moved rooms, so I need to get the charger.
No worries, no worries.
So, hi, Dr. Anne Marie.
How are you?
Good. I actually saw you for the first time at the World Narcolepsy conference last year.
Okay.
You did the talk, and I was like, wow, she's so like thorough. Like I was like, we have to have her on the podcast. Like,
oh, thank you.
And yeah, And I thought your episode was really interesting.
Thank you.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So, how did you get into um like how did you can you for everybody watching, can you share just a little bit about yourself and what you do? Because we have people watching from Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
Yeah, sure. My background is I'm a clinician in the United States, and so I wear a lot of hats as a clinician. I run a division of child neurology and pediatric sleep medicine. I'm also a researcher. I do a lot of work in the advocacy space, and it's not uncommon that people ask me, "Hey, you're a child neurologist. Like, how did you fall into sleep medicine, and particularly, how did you stumble into really working with people who are living with hypersomnolence disorders like narcolepsy or idiopathic hypersomnia?" And part of the reason they ask that question is that they typically are so used to pulmonologists or lung doctors as being a sleep medicine specialist. And so one of the things I had realized when I was in my neurology training in the United States, child neurologist is an adult neurologist with special qualifications in child neurology. I realized that all of my patients that I was seeing who had neurologic disorders also had sleep-wake and circadian problems. And as opposed to thinking about it as being, oh, it's a co-occurring condition, for me it was, no, this is a part of the neurologic concern. And that's because sleep is a neurologic process. Because of that, I wanted to pursue a career in sleep medicine, not to just diagnose people with sleep disorders, but really to look at sleep and circadian health as an opportunity to better diagnose, give better prognosis, and also provide a more whole person, whole day approach to treatment and being able to own your own journey. And because of that, I went into a neurology-based training program, which is where Dr. Michael Thorpe was the sleep programs director. He wasn't my program director. That was Dr. Ahmed, who was amazing as well. But I developed this ability to have this immersive experience with a very high volume of people who had hypersomnolence disorders. And so the reason I went into neurology was because my mom has multiple sclerosis, and her journey was really quite difficult, with a lot of miscommunication, misdirection, kind of giving doubt of what would be possible and capable. And so she kind of chose a journey of like, I hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. And when I was meeting with people who were living with hypersomnolence disorders, it was so deja vu for me. It was so many people who had been dismissed or invalidated, given false impression that they shouldn't have as much hope and that they should have a glass ceiling on what they're capable of. And for me, it was just a call to action of, why are we limiting people based on a diagnosis? Instead, why are we not emboldening them with helping us to better understand how we can improve the journey?
I love that. That's so true. And everyone, if you go on our Patreon, you can hear Dr. Anne Marie's episode where she talks more about this, and it's very, very empowering. And you should definitely have a listen to that. So my part was supposed to be later on, and I was going to talk about pain, but I think I'll just do it now, and then I'll ask you, Dr. Amory, since you're on, about this pain thing, because I haven't been able to actually talk to a neurologist about this and what they think. So I've been having, I want to talk about narcolepsy and pain, and I believe that this is one of the symptoms, but it's not necessarily always talked about, or it's not something talked about often at all. And it used to happen maybe once every 3 months or something. It feels like a cold, like how you would feel if you were coming down with a really bad cold or flu. All your muscles, all your bones ache, but you don't have a cold, you don't have a flu, and your throat is fine and your head's fine, you're not blowing your nose. It would last for maybe a day or so, and you'd feel like you'd have to stay in bed that whole time. It almost feels a bit like how it felt when I had COVID. And when I had COVID, it felt like how I felt before I was when I wasn't diagnosed and I wasn't on medication. It almost feels like that, but with pain. And but because it was only once every couple of months, it happened, and it only lasted for a day. I just like or, I don't know what this is, but it's nothing. And then in support groups and stuff, we'll talk to other people, and it started to happen more often, more like now once a month. And so I was diagnosed when I was 18 and I'm 42 now. So once every 4 months is nothing, but increase to once a month, that's a big difference. It's a big change. So this is when I was talking to about people, and other people were saying, yes, they're also experiencing pain. But then a lot of people have other comorbidities like fibromyalgia and things like that, which can be explained. Then in January, up until May, I had a flare up of this where I was in pain every single day, nonstop, full body, every bone, muscle aching. I was still doing my hairdressing course at college, and sometimes I couldn't even go because it would hurt to walk. Just to go to the toilet, it would hurt. And so I started to get scared, and I would talk to other people online and said, maybe you should get checked for your inflammations. Maybe it's something else happening. So we did all the tests, and, they tested me for lupus and cancer and all these other things. And it turns out not to be any of them. And it all came back clear, which was great because, on top of everything I have, I don't want to have lupus or any other type of, chronic disease. And so then I was left with, so this must be the narcolepsy that's causing this. This is the narcolepsy causing this pain in my body. I don't know if it's the stress, because we know that stress exacerbates the symptoms. So I know if I'm overstressed, cataplexy is definitely going to get worse. The sleeping is going to get worse. So I'm asking you, was the pain exacerbated by stress? Because it stopped in May. It finally calmed down. My friend who has fibromyalgia, she said to me, buy a blanket, electronic blanket.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what helped me. I had to literally sleep on that for 5 months straight because I couldn't. The pain was that unbearable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So from a neurological point of view, what's been happening to me?
Yeah. So you raised a really great question that I think is completely underexplored in individuals living with narcolepsy. And so I'll first start off with just a framing of that. Orexin is a really, really important brain signaler. And so depending on the literature that you read, you may see it being called hypocretin, or you may be seeing it called orexin. That's because in 1998, 2 different groups found at the same time. One called it orexin, one called it hypocretin. And the orexin neurotransmitter and the pathways that it serves, because it has 2 different pathways, and then it can also kind of activate a variety of other areas of the brain. They really serve as integrators for so many processes in the body. And one of the integrations that it serves in is actually nociception, or pain experience. And so it becomes a really, really important thing to recognize that this isn't an accident or by a surprise. And why do I say that? Because if I want to take from published literature about people living with narcolepsy, I can start with what we started to see, especially since 2017 with the BOND study. This was the burden of narcolepsy disease. And this was a retrospective health claims study. And so what they do is they say, we're going to take health insurance claims, and we have about 7,000 people who are living with narcolepsy, and we have their claims, and we're going to match it to about 50,000 people without narcolepsy and see, are there certain signals that people living with narcolepsy are more likely to have other things? And what you have alluded to is absolutely correct, that people living with narcolepsy are about 4 times more likely to be experiencing pain syndromes, things like headache, migraine disorder, as well as things like back pain, fibromyalgia. The challenge with pain is that there is no diagnostic modality to say you are or not in pain. And then what is the cause of your pain? However, when you're looking at retrospective claims data, you also may have some other variables that may make it a little bit fuzzy, right? So what we know based on that is that there's an association. We see that people who have narcolepsy are more likely to experience pain for a variety of different diagnoses that are applied. What about on the flip side? Can we look at the pain experience, and can that potentially be predictive of the likelihood of developing narcolepsy? What is striking is that there was a Taiwanese study in children that had looked at children who have headache syndrome versus no headache syndrome. And the children who had headache syndrome were 5 times more likely for the development of narcolepsy. Now, the question I have in that study was, is it actually the development, or were they already living with narcolepsy? We just had the diagnosis, right? So when thinking about this, I very frequently will tell people that this is an accident. This is design. This last year, there was a beautiful publication in animal models that had looked at the ability of modulating the orexin system. And what they had found was you modulate it in this direction, you experience severe pain. You modulate it in this direction and they actually experience severe itching, or what we call pruritus. And so when I'm seeing that an individual is experiencing pain dysfunction, the question becomes, what is the approach? Is it a typical approach for pain management that we should be taking, or is there a re-regulation of this system dysfunction? So one of the things that I've started kind of socializing in conversations with people, and I really started to do this more at World Sleep in Singapore, is based on, let's just pretend for a moment that when we're talking about narcolepsy type 1 or narcolepsy cataplexy, that the only cause is CSF deficiency of orexin. And the reason why I say let's pretend is because we know that's not true. We know there are people who are living with narcolepsy type 1 that they may not have an absence of orexin, or they may have intermediate. And I would also make a bet that there probably are also people who have high levels of orexin who have narcolepsy type 1. And in those individuals, it may not be that I don't have enough neurotransmitter, it's that the signal is not getting signaled, right? And so kind of thinking about if you were to make the comparison to something like diabetes. I can have diabetes because my body doesn't make insulin, and that's diabetes, you're type 1 diabetic. And then you can have a person who they first develop insulin resistance, so their insulin gets very, very high, and it's because my cells no longer are responding to it. And that's your diabetes type 2, right? And so it's important to have this concept because it is not the deficiency of orexin that's causing the symptoms. And I know that sounds like absolute heresy for me to say. It is the absence of a critical neurotransmitter in a system, and that a system then has to figure out a new way to function to survive. And so therefore, you are going to see a maladaptation of a system so that you can exist. However, some of the other downstream effects may be pain, maybe dysautonomia or POTS or gastroparesis, maybe depression, anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder, maybe metabolic syndrome, obesity, overweight. These are all the things that you see associated with people living with narcolepsy because of the fact that we're looking at the same substrate. So the reason I think this is such an important piece is because a person living with narcolepsy is going to likely be managed by a sleep doctor. And when you start to talk about your pain, they're going to be like, not me, not me. And now you are leaving a person to have to figure out who is the right partner with me to, number one, validate my experience, that I'm experiencing pain and that's a legitimate thing. Be able to help you decipher, just as you were saying, it was a one-off, so I ignored it, right? Same thing happens with your cataplexy. If I drop things every once in a while, I ignore it. It's that when I can't hold a glass cup anymore is when it's a problem, right? And sometimes we have a maladaptive approach of I don't hold a glass cup. I hold something like this because then I can't break it and I can't spill it, right? And so it's not a problem if I'm not having a consequence related to it. It's an inconvenience, but it's not a problem. When it starts happening and it's starting to derail your function, that is when we start to say, okay, we need an explanation for it. And because there's not a test I can say, this is your pain test and this is where it's coming from and this is the cause of it, we then very frequently are going, yeah, we agree you're in pain. Here are some things we can throw at it. However, the things that we may throw at it may not necessarily respond the same way as someone who has a pain syndrome for the sake of the pain syndrome, not because they have narcolepsy that is contributing to a dysfunctional signaling that is not going to respond in the same way. And so an example I give is why in these children who are Taiwanese did we see this association with headache, or what is a possible postulation there? What we know when you look at the physiology of orexin is that orexin actually can inhibit what we call the pre-junctional release of something called CGRP. If you think about what is the hot drugs right now for the treatment of migraine and headache syndromes, it is CGRP antibodies, it is CGRP blocking agents, it is blocking the effects of CGRP, which is what orexin is supposed to do, right? And orexin blocks that prejunctional. So if I have no orexin, or I have insufficient orexin, or abnormal signaling of orexin, that leaves CGRP unchecked. And so when CGRP is unchecked, I am now going to be having more frequent headache. And the things that normally may help some people may not necessarily help me, because I have a different driving factor. And so when we start to really kind of pull this apart, this really is what medicine and the act of quote unquote doctoring should be, is taking the individual in front of us, going, what is unique about your journey? And then us going, my expertise is in science and physiology and pathophysiology. How does that knowledge match what you're experiencing? And if it's not a match, then we need to go, what else do we need to discover? What else do we need to do differently? What else do we need to approach here? And so when you're describing to me about this journey with pain, a lot of the things that is going through my head is, I would have loved to have kind of understood what was your other symptom experience related to narcolepsy. What was the excessive daytime sleepiness, the cataplexy? Was the pain associated with the cataplexy? Because we generally think about cataplexy as purely this motor phenomena, but I feel as though that I have met enough people living with cataplexy that there's definitely, for some people, a sensory component to it. And many times they'll describe to me like this electric shock feeling, a tingling feeling on their head, and it sometimes is not necessarily in the same place that they're having the cataplexy. The reference I always give is Julie Flygar's book, Wide Awake and Dreaming. Whenever her knees would buckle, she generally would get this tingling on the top of her head beforehand. And what's very fascinating about when people have a sensory phenomena associated is that many times is the reason they'll go to a doctor. They're like, this thing annoys me. It's the tingling on top of my head. Kind of like when my foot falls asleep. It's not the foot that falls asleep. It's the pins and needles. Oh my goodness, I can't walk, the pins and needles. I'm like, if I can't feel my foot, that's fine. It's the pins and needles that bother me. So I think that this is an area that I would love in your own journey. Was there changes in your medication? Was it the blanket, right? Was it the blanket alone? Were there changes in medications? Was there changes in what your sleep-wake patterns were? Were there changes in what the burden of your other symptoms are? Was there another subconscious compensatory change in behavior that you engaged in? Was it a change in diet? Was it a change in time that you were eating? There's all these other factors that we know could potentially have a role, and it's a matter of us trying to better understand. Or was it just a matter of time? And because the brain is an evolving organ and changing constantly, was it just a matter of that?
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. I wouldn't have got this response from if I tried to. I would have had to wait 6 months to speak to my neurologist. So thank you. That was really good.
Yeah, but what you just said, Curly, is so important. Is that most people would have got that response. They would say that's not related to your narcolepsy. That's what they would have said, right? Mm-hmm. And what I generally will tell people is that when we're talking about living with narcolepsy, we still are in our infancy, right? As much as we like to pretend that we're so expert in what narcolepsy looks like and what the symptoms of narcolepsy look like, we still fail to even acknowledge the pentad, never mind non-pentad symptoms that are directly related to living with narcolepsy. And so with that, I generally will tell people, try live empowered, right? And the way you can live empowered is by really understanding your own patterns of what you're experiencing and keeping track of, even if it's for a few days or a week at a time, this is my symptom pattern. Because even if you're able to draw out some of these associations, and even if your doctor invalidates, like, no, it's not causative, it's just an association or correlation, it's still important for you to understand what your patterns are, because there is the possibility of introducing behaviors, or if there is a change in medication you see that alleviates, it's good to know, because now it's giving you some directionality of how you can respond to things.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Anne-Marie. Thanks for coming on and sharing. We appreciate you. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, who's next? It's time to color.
Yes. So next we have
Color with me, with Chloe and Matilda. We'll start with Matilda. Color with me.
Okay, so everybody,
And thank you, Rachel. Rachel has would like to come up and speak at some point. So yeah, thank you, Rachel, for joining.
yes, and we have Naomi is also. Wait, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Naomi is also on here. Naomi, we might need you to turn your camera on. So, okay. Yeah, so we will do the color with me session, and then everybody grab a drink of water, grab some color pencils, some crayons, and let's get to it. And then we will, just because of the timing, so we all live in different locations, and some of the team members have to get up early for work tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
So we will most likely be adjusting our schedule, and we'll do the color with me, and then afterwards we will have
Liz, or does Liz want to go on before the color with me?
Okay, I guess she's not on yet, so yeah.
She says
So yeah,
she doesn't mind. She'll go after.
okay.
She and
Yeah,
Iris will go after because they have work tomorrow.
yeah. So we'll do the color with me, and then after that, Liz will speak, and then we will because of the time difference, we will have the other team members who were supposed to speak record videos, and then we will put them on our YouTube channel and Patreon for you guys to watch. Okay, so Matilda, are you ready?
Hi. There we go. Do you want me to just start now?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Hi everyone, I'm Matilda. I'm gonna do the color with me session. So I've got like a brown. I'm gonna start with her skin. I chose some other colors like purples and blues and greens because I think this kind of image is more like dreamlike scenario. So I'll do that in a moment. And then I will show, and then Chloe will do a bit of the coloring on the iPad to show the digital format. Yeah. So I guess I'll just talk about myself a little bit. I got narcolepsy at the age of 3. So I've had it for, I'm 19 now for clarification. So I've had it for over a decade. And I have 2 cats. Thinking of doing purple for the side here. Just to add that dream. I think purples and blues, I don't know why, but and pinks are all usually associated with dreaming, and this is obviously a picture of a dream catcher, a girl holding a dream catcher, which is actually the Naps for Life logo, funny enough. I was the one who created this image. So. And I have also done I've hosted I co-hosted 2 episodes with Curly. So yeah. I'm just trying to think of other things to say. I do enjoy doing crafts. I do a lot of coloring actually. I am currently working on this very big color paint by number, which is a world tree. It's huge though. It's gonna take me a while, but it's worth it. It's gonna look really pretty in the end. So, which this will also hopefully. And so yellow for the stars because why not? In fact, I was actually thinking of doing an outline of yellow and then doing like a darker yellow on the outside and then a lighter yellow on the inside, kind of to make it show that it's shining more brightly, but you could also do the opposite. You can tell I like coloring and stuff because I'm used to shading. So I actually do quite a bit online coloring as well, funny enough, but this is easier at the moment. So. Sorry. Camera.
Hi everyone, we have an extra little competition, so you can download it from the site and print it out, and Chloe's also going to show you a way to do it on your digital form 1 if you want to do it that way, and take a picture of it, post it on Instagram, and tag us, and then the most creative ones, we'll put everyone who sends theirs in tomorrow on the wheel. We'll do a separate wheel for that, and we'll give a prize to that. So download, color it in tonight, and we'll post the winner on Sunday. So you have like a couple of days to color it in. We'd love to see everybody's creative perspective.
Let me know, Curly, let me know when you want me to move over to Chloe.
Yeah, you're good for now. You can continue. And while you're enjoying watching Matilda color, this is a good time to go to the toilet and drink some water, these things. I am going to feed my cats now as well. So
one of my cats actually has a sensitive stomach, so he can only ever eat kibble. And my other cat is can really only eat wet meat because, well, she's unhealthily overweight. So yeah, so we've got like a Jack Sprat and his wife kind of scenario, if you've ever heard that rhyme. Jack Sprat could eat no fat, his wife could eat no lean. This is a joke that we make about my cats. You know what? I'm gonna do blue for her hair because why not? I actually have pink highlights in my hair. I did it a couple years ago, and I think it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Like I said, I have had narcolepsy since I was 3, so although I might not be able to respond very quickly, but if anyone wants to mention the fact, like any questions they have, you can send Curly an email and she can contact me, or we can figure something out. I'm happy to answer any questions because I was a kid at one point in my life, not anymore, but I was. There's a couple years ago, I actually did a dream catcher craft at a I think it was a narcolepsy conference. I can't remember which one, but it was in Florida, I think, and there was a lot of kids there actually, and we made dream catchers. That was the craft that we did, and my mom and I hosted it, and it was pretty fun. And I think I might still have it somewhere. We thought this would just be a little bit simpler because obviously it's just printing out or downloading an image rather than finding all the materials at like your local craft store. So I just realized that this area right here might actually be skin, but oh well. They say that there's no mistakes in art. I'm not sure I believe that, but we're gonna go with that at the moment. Yes, Rachel. Rachel was asking if it was I think it was the Narcolepsy Network one. It could have been yeah, it was a while ago. It was probably, I want to say, 10 or so years ago that I went to that conference. I've been to conferences since, mind you, but that was one I went to, which we did make a dream catcher in, and there was some really nice girls there that did coloring with us, funny enough. So that was very fun. They had just like a craft table out at the conference, which was very fun, and you just colored and hung out with people, and you met all sorts of people, which knew exactly what it was like to have narcolepsy. In fact, I think that was the first conference I ever went to. It was at a really nice hotel as well. They had like a swimming pool and stuff. But that was the first conference I ever went to. So yeah.
Matilda, have you told them you're studying Japanese?
Oh no. I am studying Japanese. I'm like elementary level, so I can't promise that I'm very good at conversation, but I do enjoy it and I love the culture and I really, really want to go there someday. So bad.
Do you know how to say World Day?
No, sorry.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. I could probably Google it, but
Yeah.
I don't know it off the top of my head.
No, that's okay. Next year you can do that. And you're at college.
That's correct. I am currently in my first year at college.
What subjects are you doing?
I'm studying psychology. I hope to be a child therapist. Maybe I'll even work with people with sleep disorders. You never know. And currently I'm taking 2 psychology classes, an administration of justice class, and an early film history, which is a requirement. But it's good. It's good. I'm actually at a community college, which is the cheaper way about going life. It's like it's like a local college, but it's paid by any taxes that you pay to the state, so you don't have to like pay any extra fees really.
No, that's good.
Which is nice. So
time for Chloe to come on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. All right, we'll move over to Chloe with the online edition.
Thank you, Matilda.
Thank you for watching, everyone.
Hi everyone. So yeah, we're gonna be moving into the digital thing. Also, I just want to say it was super fun what Matilda had to say. I also love Japan, and the culture. I can't speak the language though, but yeah. Um, so we posted on the Nats for Life website, which is what Curly mentioned. You can download the digital coloring page there, and if you scroll down just beneath it, we have a tutorial video by me of how you can color this on your phone or iPad using whichever coloring app you want. If you're on Android, you could use the Sketchbook app. Same thing, you can also use that on iOS. For this, I'm using Procreate, but you can use any drawing app you want. So without further ado, let's just do that. This was the example that I did. It looks really nice, but we can keep it simple. So I think I prepared a page, a blank page for us to do right now. And yeah, so like Curly said, we'd really love it if you would color on your own and, you know, post it to your Instagram. We're having a little competition challenge thing, so that would be really fun. I think I'm going to start with I like how Matilda did a fun color with the hair. Let me do a fun color too. Let's do like pink or something. Yeah, let's give her pink hair. So I'm just going to give her some pink hair. Maybe you can give her highlights too. That'd be fun. Be as creative with this as you want. This is supposed to be fun for everyone. And this is one of the pages from the coloring book that Matilda, Curly, and I and the rest of the team worked on. It was really fun to be a part of that project with everybody. It was a really great experience getting to do something from start to finish like that. And we're all so proud of it, and it's available on Amazon now. So it'd be great if anybody wants to go buy that. You know, and if you just want to see for yourself if you like it first, you can download the free page we have available on our website right now that Matilda and I have been coloring. Let me go for some pink hair, and let's do a blue hairband, because why not? Just adjusting the size here. And we can give her like a purple shirt or something. That would be fun. So I'm just gonna fill in right here, the drag and drop. Super fun. Yeah, the coloring page, I'm super excited for mine to arrive in the mail. Can't wait for that. And then I'll probably maybe post some of those coloring pages that are done on the Instagram so everybody else can see. And you know, it doesn't even have to be this page, like we said. We want everybody to share. So if anybody decides to purchase the coloring book and would like to share what they colored on Instagram or emailing it to us, that would be so fun to see. I know everybody's super proud of the coloring book, and we want to see everyone's creativity shine through. Let's give her belt. And yeah, the instructions for how to do this are available on the video. So if you're confused on how you can do this on your own at home, you can go ahead and watch the video at any time. So there's no rush. It's supposed to be relaxing and fun. Finish those hair pieces. And then whenever time is up, somebody please tell me. So we've done really fun with the pink hair. We could even add some highlights, some blonde or something. That's fun. Do some stars. The dream catcher. The dream catcher is really such a fun symbol. I love that we have that.
Thank you, Chloe.
Yeah, thanks.
And show them the the final one that you did as well, so they have a free.
Yes, this was the final one we did.
So guys, we can't wait to see yours, and we thank Chloe for doing this and sharing this today.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
happy World Narcolepsy Day.
Okay, so now we can bring up Natalie and not Natalie, Naomi and Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. Hi, Naomi. How are you?
Hi, good, thanks. Sorry, I missed the beginning, so I'm not clear on what I'm meant to be doing.
That's okay. We wanted people to come up and talk about their experiences with narcolepsy or anything that, or idiopathic hypersomnia or Klein-Levin, and if the podcast, if you have been listening to the podcast, have you been enjoying it, and share a little bit about yourself, if anything that resonated with you so far.
Yeah, I'm sure I can have a go. And then I guess just let me know if there's stuff that I've missed. I have IH. I've only had it for about 3 years. It's very sort of sudden onset. And then just kind of over the last 3 years have been going through the usual misdiagnosis and all of that, to kind of only really in the last year did I get a correct diagnosis. Haven't managed to find any medication that's been helpful so far, unfortunately. But really enjoy the podcast. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, thank you. And Naomi, where are you situated?
I'm in the Midwest in the US.
And if you would like to, would you like to share your story on the podcast?
I don't know if it's exciting enough to fill up the whole time.
No, there's no such thing. Everybody's story is exciting. I always say to people, I feel that my story is very boring, but someone out there will resonate with my story and might not resonate with someone else's. So I say everyone's story is important. Everyone's story is exciting. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you'll have me, but it was quite.
Everyone's been love you to have you. So if you send your bio and your picture over, and then we'll talk.
Thanks.
You're welcome, darling.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Rachel.
Oh, howdy. How are y'all doing?
Yeah, we're good. How are you?
I know. You're in the States, right, Sakara?
Yes, I'm in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm in Dallas. And so
Okay.
you're in the Midwest, so we're on the same time schedule.
Yeah.
Naomi. And we need more IHers. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I'll share my favorite narcolepsy story that I've ever had. And well, yesterday I was at another narcolepsy event for Wake Up Narcolepsy here in the States. I work with multiple nonprofits, and we had talked about sharing stories and how it was important, and trying to get other people to be brave enough to share their stories. And a lot of times, people are nervous and fearful, but you really shouldn't be. I do understand there are people that hide their disorder from public scrutiny, from all the stigma. That's why it's so important to reduce stigma, because there are people that are afraid of getting their losing their jobs, of getting a job is a problem. But that's when my mom overheard, and she pulled out in a bag and gave out. She said, "This is from your dad." And it's a pomegranate. Yeah, you know the story. And essentially it was 2002. My great uncle had just died from pancreatic cancer. And my sister and my brother-in-law are very hilarious. So I go into status cataplectic for like 30 minutes, and everybody's freaking out. They're all thinking that it's just another sleep attack. and that it wasn't cataplexy induced. Hilariously, my dad thought that the laughter was inducing a sleep attack, which is very different. And I was like, no, and that's cataplexy before I told him, and he still didn't believe me. So while I was in this like status cataplecticus from being in it over 30 minutes, he said, Rachel, I don't think you can hear me, but the secret word is pomegranate. And when I came to, I finally said, Dad, the secret word is forbidden food, as I slumped over again on the couch. And well, I think I was actually behind him standing, but I went down onto the recliner. But it was just so funny. He never forgot it. He never doubted me again. Well, that's our special bond, that he would just give me a random pomegranate.
That's so nice.
And I enjoyed sharing my story on Naps for Life. I'm a big fan of the organization and everything that you guys do. Share a story, change a story. It really is true. And Naomi, you have no idea how much your story could inspire other people with IH. I enjoy working with multiple nonprofits, so I show up to a Wake Up Narcolepsy event with Project Sleep Gear, and I'm a volunteer for PWN for PWN. So like
I love that, Rachel. Oh my
equal
God.
opportunity representation.
Yes, exactly. Oh, girl. Everyone, you can see Rachel is the Sleepy American. She's in the coloring book. You must see her pictures. It's amazing. So it's in the coloring book, and Rach, and it has a special quote that she said on the podcast as well. And you can listen to Rachel's songs on Spotify, also on YouTube. She's also on TikTok. She's also on Instagram. She is everywhere. So there's no reason to
I'm Sleepy
not
American,
celebrate.
and on Instagram I go by the Nap Cave. But I love being active and representing and encouraging. I love especially being there for people who are newly diagnosed, and to encourage them to be brave, and that to know that diagnosis is the start of when things can actually start to get better.
100%. Thank you, Rachel. And
Sure.
I also want to thank you, Rachel, for I wouldn't have known Dr. Anne Marie as much if it wasn't for
you're
what
welcome.
you had to go through that year.
Oh,
And so
I know. I love
thank you
her,
for that,
and
for sharing that experience with me.
Oh,
And
definitely.
yeah,
It's so important to find the right doctor for you. They're not one size fits all. They're not all coordinated the same. They're not like, Dr. Morse said. She's actually looking into like the pain syndromes, and that resonates very much, as there's a lot of physical pain in narcolepsy that you can't see. The other disorders, like I have metabolic disorder. I've lost a lot of weight, but those GLP-1s are very they it's a lot of intestinal distress, like because everything slows down, so like eating and becomes real tricky, but because if you because everything's just so slowed down. But I wonder if the new prescriptions with the agonists will also help people with narcolepsy lose weight because of the connection there. So I just think it's really important, and thank you guys for having this event and being worldwide. I think it's really important to know people outside of just your country, because like something that I've learned from like Dr. Wani, who was at the Singapore World Sleep, and I saw her yesterday at our Wake Up Narcolepsy Town Hall, and she's saying that Asia is just far ahead, leaps and bounds. They are now the sleep medicine most advanced hub in the world right now for sleep medicine.
Wow.
Not
Wow.
no longer the United States.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks for telling us that, Rachel.
Oh, sure. I'm sure Dr. Morse might echo the same sentiment, but I'll see her on October 21st. That's when me and my dad will fly up to see her in Pennsylvania.
Mm.
That's my birthday present every year. I go.
Oh.
I get to go see Dr. Morse and get my medications for another year.
Oh, that's nice.
And then I get to help her on her rotation as well, where I help train. I will go train some newer sleep doctors in their residency and fellowships.
Oh, that's amazing, Rachel.
Oh, thank you.
I'm so happy for you and everything that you're
Okay.
doing. And thank you for your advocacy work.
Well, no problem. Thank you guys from Philadelphia, London, and in the Midwest. about what part of the Midwest are you from?
I'm
What
actually in
state?
Chicago at the moment. I didn't mean to
Oh,
be so mysterious. I just didn't know how specific we were supposed to be.
well, Chicago's about as North Midwest as you can get. It's pretty awesome. But it's I'll be there for the first time, a very short time as a layover, going to see Dr. Morse. But I'll actually be in the Windy City for a little
Yeah,
bit.
the Windy City.
You should come back again to do more than a layover.
I would love to do that. I just need, it takes a lot of money to travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Thank you
Until
both.
then, Zoom.
Thank you both.
Oh, thank you.
So who's next, Sakara?
Yeah.
So next we have let me just look at the schedule real quick.
Was it Liz?
Yeah, so because a lot of our team members are
Right, they're in the UK.
worldwide. Yeah, it's what
Hard.
time is it? What time is it over there?
9
currently?
p.m.
9:30.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's coming up to 9:30. So we went over, well, it's not, it's 9:20, 20 something. So we went over like 20 something minutes.
Sorry.
So is there anybody else in the audience that wanted to come up and speak? But on the schedule, people are saying in the group that they're going to do videos instead.
Yeah, so I know Bernadette was supposed to present. But in the meantime, I am
We'll do
going
another
to
raffle.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll do another raffle, and then one of our team members, Fred, submitted videos.
Oh yes, yes. That's so Fred stuff.
So I will play that after the raffle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have to get these people's names. All the people that won.
I wrote it down.
Okay. Okay, congratulations, Ashley. You have won a mug.
Cool.
All right, awesome. We are so excited for you. And now I'm going to play. Okay, I'm going to play one of our team members' videos. She has two. So let me just get my bearings together.
Hi, everyone. I'm Fred. I've been working with Narcolepsy Navigators for about a year now, close to it, as an editor for the podcast and also doing some work for Naps for Life, helping build the merch store on the website and just general all around help, whatever I can do. I got started with Naps for Life and Narcolepsy Navigators when I heard the Narcolepsy Navigators podcast, the first or second episode that it came out. I found it on Spotify, and I had just been Googling narcolepsy podcasts, and it came up. And I was working in a farm and planting sunflowers, and I just remember I started crying in the middle of the field. I was just like, I have never heard anybody who really gets it, who really understands what it feels like to go through these symptoms and to feel as exhausted all the time as we do. And it was just so nice to have that connection. So I wanted to reach out and talk to them and offer to give my interview. So we did an interview last October, and they asked if I wanted to help volunteer. So that's how I got involved, and I definitely haven't regretted it. Curly and Iris are wonderful for this community, and they do so much work to help everyone feel connected. And I'm so glad that everyone can attend today. I did want to say also, I know this isn't going to be a 5-minute introduction here, but we do what we can. I had a long day, and it's always fine to listen to your body. And when it tells you that you need to slow it down or do a little bit less than you planned, that's perfectly okay. And you should totally listen to that. So I hope you have a wonderful World Narcolepsy Day, and I hope we get to hear your stories.
Okay, so that was our amazing Fred. She has another video that she submitted for her topic on dreaming, and yeah, she submitted a topic on overcoming vivid dreams. So I'm going to play that now, and then we will do, if Bernadette is ready, we will have her come up, and then after that we will do the final raffle, and the closing remarks. Okay.
Hi, it's Fred again. I just wanted to give you guys a few brief tips that I use to help me when I'm having vivid dreams or really unpleasant dreams. I get really violent hallucinations and things that are pretty unpleasant and can affect you throughout the rest of the day. So I have 3 tips for you guys. First of all is when you wake up in the middle of the night from a bad dream or bad experience, is to think to yourself, okay, I'm done with that. I need to change the channel to something else. Let's think of something happy. Let's think about puppies. Let's think about maybe trying to have a dream where I'm flying around and having fun. But I've realized that if I can avoid being in that state where, you know, like you just kind of halfway woke up and you're groggy and you're aware you've had a nightmare, but you can't break out of it, and you're just going to go back into it as soon as you close your eyes again. If you can kind of force yourself to wake up a little more, enough to think, okay, I'm done. We're not doing that one anymore. And then switch the channel to something else. Then that helps me out a lot. Number 2 is remembering where I left my body. So I will wake up especially with sleep paralysis or hallucinations. I get kind of a combination of the two. And then I'll get in these loops where I'm waking up over and over again. But it turns out those were all hallucinations, like 5 times in a row. It's pretty annoying. One of the ways I kind of break out of those is I will think about, where did I fall asleep? Where's my body? What room is it in? What does that room look like? And does the room I'm looking at in my dream look different than that? Or like, that'll help you realize that you're in a dream. If you start concentrating on your surroundings and thinking like, does something look weird? Is this the wrong color paint on the walls? Is the furniture not where it's supposed to be? Is my body in this, whatever I'm looking at, is this where I left my body when I went to sleep? And a lot of times I'll realize, no, it's not, things are different. And that might be enough to kind of help me snap out of that. The third tip here is one I actually hate to follow, because I love watching horror movies. And really the tip is just don't watch anything that's like disturbing or violent. I love watching like crime procedurals and detective stuff and zombie movies and everything. And the more of that I watch, the more I've realized that I have those violent, vivid dreams that are really hard to shake. So those are my 3 tips for helping your dreamscape. And I hope they help you out.
Okay, awesome. That was awesome. I'm sure everyone appreciated those helpful tips. And now we're going to bring up Bernadette. She will be talking about tips on vivid dreaming.
No, not Bernadette.
Oh.
She's not talking about dreams.
Oh, sorry.
Aging.
Yes, sorry. Aging and living with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hello. So I'm talking about aging and living with it in the idea that the longer you have this, the worse it gets. And it actually does not have to be that way. This has so much to do, our symptoms and our effects, the extent of those symptoms, they all have so much to do with the amount of stress that we allow in our lives. And the fact is when you get a little older, your kids grow up, people move out, you aren't working 40 hours a week anymore, if at all, and the stress level goes down as long as you let it. You just have to choose to let it go down. It sounds a lot easier said than done, and it kind of is, but it can be done. You just have to really get yourself to a point where you've accepted that this is what you have. You have narcolepsy, you're tired, you're gonna fall asleep. Take your naps, get yourself schedules. Make sure that you take the nap when you start to feel tired. Don't push yourself, because the farther you push yourself, the higher your stress levels go, the harder it is for your digestion and everything else to work, being caused by the dumps of like cortisol into your stomach based on your stress level. So the older I've gotten, the less that I worry. Accept the fact that this is it. And I do what I can through Naps for Life and Navigators and any other avenue I can find to try to help other people deal with narcolepsy and deal with the, I guess, unscheduled life that it gives us, so that you can take control of it through taking control of your stress. So I've now gone from being at one point almost completely debilitated by cataplexy, because I was raising kids, I was trying to manage medication, I was trying to work 40 plus hours a week, I was trying to just make life work like so many people are. And it became overwhelming. It took over. The cataplexy was taking over, and the medication I was taking, I was not managing it well because it said take as needed, and take as needed became more than than it was helping me. It became more of an issue than it became a help. And I didn't realize it for a very long time. When I finally did, I stopped the medication. I also was able to, because of my support system, which I know I'm very fortunate to have the support system that I have. And hopefully, through things like this, we can help other people develop a support system that can help them to do what I did, to be able to relieve my stress, to get to a place where I could accept having narcolepsy and not have to fight it so hard, to have the time to be able to set a schedule, to be able to come off the meds, to be able to get my life under control in with narcolepsy basically. So the outcome obviously has been like it will be for anybody that accepts it. But I understand having to fight it, and I would never encourage anyone not to take meds, because truth is at that time in my life, I don't know that I would have gotten through the diagnosis and getting this far had it not been for the medications. And for me, at least trying them, giving myself that opportunity to see if it would actually work. It just didn't. So as I've gotten older, and hopefully as everybody else alleviates, they won't have to be so stressed out. You'll accept it, you'll learn to live with it, and you will become better at managing it on your own. But take your meds, try everything you can, do what you can, and just stay connected. Stay connected with naps. Stay connected with other people, because the advice others can give you is invaluable. It's also very justifying in believing that you're really not all the things that are implied on you or put upon you by misconceptions and misunderstandings. So I would hope that you don't be afraid. Getting older with narcolepsy is not so damn bad. And you'll find your way. You will. Just stay connected. That's the best advice I have for anybody.
Thank you, Bernadette. Okay, so we are going to do our final raffle and wrap it up, and with some closing remarks. Let everybody know where they can find us on social media and everything like that. So, and we also have some last minute announcements to make after we do the raffle. Congratulations, Wayne Good. You got a mug. You won a mug. Congratulations. So congratulations to all the raffle winners, the raffle prize winners. We had some technical issues in the beginning, but what is a live stream without technical difficulties? So, my name is Sakara, and I want to thank everybody for joining us. This has been an amazing day. It was very fun to plan, and I'm so excited for the people that have joined us on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, and I cannot wait to read the comments. Curly, do you have any last minute things to say?
I want to thank everyone for taking the time out to come on and listen to us on the live, and those who came up and spoke. I want to thank you all for being here as well. All the former guests, I want to thank them that came on earlier as well. And we appreciate everybody who has been listening to us this year on the podcast. All the growth on Instagram and on the Facebook group. It's literally like triple doubled in size in a year. It's been amazing. I don't know where you're finding us, but it's so great. And we want you to share your stories, whether it be on the podcast. We also have the blog. We have a new blog. It came out yesterday. It's called the Nap Journal. And if you want to share your story, but you don't want to share it by voice, you can write something. You can write an article and send it in. And once a month, we will put an article out once a month. Solomon, who came on earlier, he will be writing the monthly ones, but there'll be an extra one of one from the public. You just need to write in, send it to the email. The emails are on the website, and the website is www.napsforlife.com. And you can see everything there. And there it is on the screen if you want to screenshot it. And all the resources of other people who are into other jobs and arts and crafts and jewelry and other things that other people are doing, because our community is actually very creative. You can go to the resources page and you can see how to get to support all of their work as well. That's all on there. And we have the merch store, and also there for you to purchase and get some gear, some cute gear to wear. And we appreciate you all, and we want to say good thanks to all our families for supporting us also. And if you fell asleep while you're on here, that's okay, because this is the one place where sleep is not reprimanded, so that's okay. And we hope you enjoyed it, and we hope next year that we will be able to do this. We will be not hope we will be doing this again next year, and
Yes.
we hope to be, and we definitely next year we hope to be having an in-person event, so you can touch us as well as hear us. We don't bite, but that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and also we have some exciting news. So I'm sure you all enjoyed the amazing coloring that Chloe and Matilda have done. The coloring book is officially out. You can go on Amazon and search for it. It's called Colorful Journeys, and it was designed by Curly, Matilda, and Chloe, and it's featuring everybody from season 1 and season 2 of the podcast. We have season 3 and season 4 coming out. So if you would like to be featured in that, email us or visit the website.
Thank you. And thank you for subscribing and downloading. And we are self-funded, so if you would like to continue to see more and have us more in line to share more stories and more growth, feel free to donate at our website. The button is there. Don't be shy. Just click.
Yes. Okay. Happy napping, everyone, and happy
everyone.
Happy World Narcolepsy Day.
Happy World Narcolepsy Day.